All right, let's get started. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar. My name is Luzanne Lottering, and I am the marketing manager here at Cardiolog Analytics. And I will go ahead and kick things off. So, today's webinar is on driving usage and boosting productivity in Microsoft Teams. This webinar is being recorded, so that's really good because if you want to share it with a colleague, we will go ahead and send an email with the recording after today's session. And of course, if you have any questions, please send them through to the questions box. It's within the GoToWebinar panel, and I'll leave some time towards the end for Q&A. And you can also connect with us on Twitter with the Twitter handle that you can see on your screen there at Cardiolog. So in regards to the agenda for today's webinar, we'll start out with a very short introduction. I'll tell you a bit about Cardiolog Analytics and who we are. And then I will go over our tool and walk you through how you can track usage and productivity in Teams, pinpoint inactive teams, pinpoint inactive users, and what their activity in Teams really is. And the whole point, how you can use those insights to then boost productivity, boost consumption, support inactive team users, and also encourage greater collaboration in the Teams platform. And then obviously at the end, we'll be taking some Q&A. So please feel free to send your questions throughout the course of this presentation. So like I said, just a little bit of introduction, some information about Cardiolog Analytics. So it'll be very brief. I'll tell you that Cardiolog Analytics has been around for about 15 years now. We started back in 2005. And we are based out of Boston. And over the past 15 years, we've been focused on analytics and engagement designed for SharePoint, Teams, and Office 365. And our flagship solution is Cardiolog Analytics, and it's built specifically for internal platforms, including all versions of SharePoint from 2010 up to 2019, as well as SharePoint Online, Microsoft Teams, also OneDrive, Exchange, and Yammer. So our solution is available both on-prem as well as a SaaS version based on Power BI. And just a little bit about our customers. We serve customers of any size and in many, many different industries, from finance to pharmaceutical to government, education, and many more. Our goal at Cardiolog Analytics is to help our customers to constantly improve Office 365 based on how it's being used. So there are 4 pillars that we talk to our customers about. The first is monitor, which is tracking the usage within SharePoint and Teams and OneDrive and Exchange and Yammer. The second is engaging users. So asking them what their needs are, what their pain points are, and what's not working for them. And then the next pillar is to enhance. So the whole point is that we want to make sure that we are constantly improving SharePoint and Teams and so on based on those 2 pillars. So the idea is to have actionable metrics, which will allow us to constantly make Office 365 platforms better for our users. And then finally, the last pillar is securing Office 365 by enforcing permissions and access and identifying breaches of information and securing confidential data. So let's get to our topic today, driving usage and boosting productivity in Teams. So obviously all of you know that recently Microsoft Teams has gained a lot, actually millions of new users due to the fact that so many people have started working remotely because of the whole coronavirus crisis. So therefore, organizations are now looking to further improve productivity and collaboration in teams. So whether your primary focus or your primary use is chat or channel or document access or voice, Microsoft Teams has suddenly become even more critical, right? But to deal with the challenge we are now all facing, your organization needs performance and usage data, because it is not only important to know if and how users are using Teams, but also what their experience is with Teams. So I will show you how high-level Teams data teamed up with targeted campaigns can give you all of the in-depth insights and tools you need to drive not only Teams usage, but productivity and collaboration as well. So let's immediately hop into our demo environment so I can show you in action. So these usage reports that I'm going to show you today can help you understand usage patterns, and the engagement part at the end, which also involves feedback, will give you the necessary insights to inform your wider rollout and where to prioritize training and communication and support efforts. So this is a collection of reports, measures, and charts packed into the Power BI solution, delivering visual reporting and engagement of product activity across the Teams platform. So let's begin here with this Teams engagement overview. In order to monitor usage, you have to review reports to understand emerging trends. So for example, if we look here at access type, this usage report shows that not many users are using a certain device to access Teams. This may indicate that users aren't sure how to do so. So now I have this data, so I know that we can maybe post a step-by-step installation instructions for that specific device, which will help drive usage of a wider device range. Or if we look at private versus public messages, so this usage report shows that users are primarily or only using Teams for private chats. So in this example, you may want to review your Teams scenarios because users are chatting outside the initial Teams and channels that were set up. So by having these valuable insights, you can reach out to your users to change their behavior in order to be more productive and collaborative. Here you can see how users in different teams are reacting to messages. So my different teams, and are they mainly liking messages? Are they mainly reacting to messages as in not replying but reacting, or are they replying to the message? So that gives you a really good indication of how they are responding to messages. Then if we hop into team overview, starting off here, we can see all of our current teams. So if I want to see data for a specific team, I can also choose which team I want to report on. Let's say the management team. And now you can see that immediately, there we go, the data is only reflecting the management team. I can also filter that by a specific channel. Let's say the strategy channel. And immediately again, this dashboard is now reflecting that specific team and channel. We can see here, which is very important and very useful, the active users by the activity type. So you can see my list of different users, and are they active because they are sending channel messages? Are they active because they are sending chat messages? Are they active because they are making calls? Or does their activity mean that they are having meetings? So this is really good to understand what the activity inside Teams translates to. Also, which is really neat, on the side here, on the left-hand side, you can see how many meetings are being held on a specific day. So say, for example, I want to see how many meetings were held on a specific date. Then I change the date on the date slider, and then you can see and you are able to track the amount of meetings per day, how long are the average amount of meeting length, how many calls took place that day, how long were the calls, how many calls were made per user, and that really informs you to know where can you maybe support which users were not as active as you want them to be, and all of that driving the activity, but driving the right kind of activity. So driving productivity and driving collaboration, and not just activity in terms of chatting and sending messages. If we hop over to Teams activity real quick. So in this dashboard, like I said, you can see the Teams activity, and you can see which teams are more active, and you can filter that by the number of members in each team, channels, messages, replies, likes, really any data that you're curious about to see which teams are more active, or if I scroll down, which teams are more inactive and need a little bit more training and support. Also, if I scroll all the way to the right-hand side, you can see the last activity date. So for example, if you see that a specific team hasn't responded, this is obviously a demo environment, so it's not reflecting real numbers and dates, and there are maybe from time to time something's missing, so I apologize for that. But here you can see maybe a team hasn't been active in the last month. There's been no response from a team in the last month, and then you can take action based on that. So maybe your action could mean you know that this specific team needs more training, needs more support, or you can go ahead and archive that team. So this data and these insights really informs you as to what actions to take in order to drive activity, or even to make the platform more user-friendly by deleting or archiving some of these teams. If you hop over to the next dashboard that I want to show you, influential users. So in this dashboard, you can see down to the user level. And then with this info, you can really drive adoption and drive collaboration and drive productivity by finding out who my influential users are, or who my champions are, as they're also sometimes called. So you can see who's using Teams the most. And once you know who these influential users are, you can reach out to them. You can invite them to share some tips or host a quick session explaining some how-tos on using Teams in order to motivate and support those inactive users. Also, we can see how many times each user has been mentioned, and then these users are also some type of champion. A lot of other users are reaching out to them, asking them questions, asking them advice, and then you know that they are also quite influential if they are being mentioned so much. And you can also use them to drive productivity and usage amongst the other slightly less active users. Want to hop into influential content real quick. So for each team and channel, you can see if they are sharing files, if they are accessing apps. So if you want to give training and you know a specific team isn't accessing apps or a specific app, or they aren't sharing files, they're not as collaborative, then this will really inform your training, and it will help you to know what to focus your support on. Also, you can see if users are actually being productive and collaborative here. Are they just using this platform as a chat-based platform? So that's the whole point. They are active, and they're using Teams, but they're not using it to be productive and collaborative. And that's why it's really important to understand what's going on in terms of content and not just in terms of activity. I want to go back to the team overview real quick. There we go. Apologies. I want to show you that you can also filter this by office and department. So you can get a really good indication on how certain groups and certain departments, how active they are in Teams. And once again, once you know who these inactive teams or inactive users or inactive offices or departments are, you can reach out to them in order to drive their productivity, collaboration in Teams. But how is that being done? So I've shown you some of the data and some of the insights that Cardiolog can provide. But all of this just gives you insights. Now I know who's active, who's not active, who's making calls, who's not making calls. I have all these valuable insights. But how does that help me drive collaboration? How does that help me drive productivity? And that is where Cardiolog Engage comes in. So in Cardiolog Engage, you target those who are inactive. You target those who are not productive, those who are not collaborative, in order to change the user behavior that you wish. So if you see, for example, in the data, in the analytics part, that there are users who did not interact with Microsoft Teams ever or in the last 30 days, as we've seen earlier, then you go ahead, you reach out to these specific users. So I'm not going to bombard everyone with this message. Maybe I've seen in the data that there are users who belong to a specific team. Maybe the marketing team is not as active and not as productive and collaborative as some of the other teams. And these are the ones I want to target. These are the ones that I want to drive their productivity and collaboration levels of. Then I know I want to target them. So I'll send a very specific message to this very specific audience based on that data that I've just shown you. So this message will be sent to this audience that you have selected, maybe as a text message. They're in the sales team, they're out in the field, they're working remotely. So a quick text message with a reminder of a file that they have to go and check out, a reminder about a file they have to collaborate on, a reminder about maybe even Teams training, whatever the case may be. So sending them the right message at the right time, but also in the right channel that will be best for those specific users or teams. Maybe this team or this user is very active in SharePoint, but not in Teams. We can even send them a quick message in SharePoint. It will appear as a pop-up right on a SharePoint page. And you can send them a link back to Teams. Maybe even just a reminder that they have access to Teams. Send them a quick pop-up telling them, hi, remember you have access to Teams. Here's a link back to Teams. Maybe they are not even aware of that, and a quick reminder will be very effective to drive them back to the Teams platform to go and be productive and collaborative there, and to understand that they have access to it and how wonderful that platform is. Maybe a quick email, although people tend to want to get rid of their emails. So what is better than driving them to the Teams platform to start being productive and collaborative there than sending them a message right within Teams? So you can even send them this very targeted message on the Teams page, and it will show up as a channel message right within Teams. And what will this message say, for example? I have told you earlier that you not only getting these wonderful insights from the analytics, but you can also get wonderful insights directly from the users. And that is where this comes in. So maybe I want to send to these users, hi, I've noticed that you have not been very active in Teams in the last 30 days. Please give me some feedback as to why that is. Then I can get this very valuable feedback directly from the users, because in this case, I will have a call to action, which will be an open question. So these users will get this message and they will also give their response, which is incredibly valuable to understand directly from the users what the reason is for the lack of activity and the lack of collaboration. What is better than knowing directly from the users themselves? Maybe I want to invite them to Teams training. In that case, the call to action could be RSVP. Perhaps I want to send them a reminder about a file they have to collaborate on, and in that case I wouldn't have a call to action at all. So it really depends on what the insights and the data tells you that will inform you how to approach the specific campaign. So this message can be sent immediately. I can schedule it to be sent at a specific date and time, whether it's my time zone or the user's time zone, or I can trigger it based on their behavior inside SharePoint. So maybe when they are scrolling down a specific page in SharePoint or viewing a specific page, you know at that moment they are focused, they're engaged. So what better time for this pop-up to appear with this link back to Teams, or this reminder about a file that they have to collaborate on, or like I said, just a simple reminder that they have access to Teams and that they can go and be productive and collaborative in Teams. So it's all about sending the right message to the right user at the right time, all of this based on the data from the Teams analytics that Cardiolog Analytics supplies. Let me get back to our presentation real quick. So just to get back to what I was saying, even though Microsoft has millions and millions of paid seats for Office 365, which includes access to the wonderful Microsoft Teams, there is still a long way to go to convince all of these existing Office 365 users to switch to Teams. And how will you get those inactive users to actually start using Teams? With Teams usage analytics teamed up with targeted campaigns, as I've just shown you from Cardiolog Analytics and Cardiolog Engage. Our Teams usage reports give you an overview of the usage activity in Teams, including things such as the number of active users and channels. And with this, you can quickly see how many users across your organization are using Teams to communicate and to collaborate. So you can view usage information for Teams, including the number of active users and channels, and guests and messages in each team. So Teams reports really give organizations powerful insights into how Teams is used in that particular organization. So using Teams reports from Cardiolog Analytics to get a view into Teams usage and user activity, and even like I've shown you device usage across your organization, is a great way to ensure optimal Microsoft Teams performance and usage. And just as a last point here, also in terms of Teams first deployment, for it to go smoothly, the adoption phase is obviously crucial. So to ensure that this phase is successful, it is essential to continuously monitor the end user experience. And that is obviously done with a solution such as Cardiolog Engage, where you can actually get not only the insights from the user activity, but also the insights directly from the user to understand what's going on and where to guide and help and support your users in order to get them to be as productive and collaborative as possible. So that is what I wanted to tell you in my presentation today. I hope you learned something. I hope you have a lot of questions for me. I am checking the questions. I see that currently I have only 3 questions. I will go ahead and answer them. And please, if you have any more questions, please send it, like I said, through the GoToWebinar questions box. So I have a question here from Thomas. Thomas asks, do you have a trial? So yes, Thomas, we do have a trial. We have a free trial. But we also have a proof of concept for people who want maybe a longer evaluation, or they want to try maybe different environments or different features versus the free limited trial. So you can contact us directly and I can share some more information about what's included in each. I have a question here from, I think it's Gideon. Gideon asks, are your solutions available for purchase in AppSource? That's a great question. Yes, Gideon. So both these solutions I showed you today, the analytics as well as the engagement part, are both available in AppSource under apps. I have another question here from Mohammed. Mohammed asks, does it take a lot of time to deploy? So Mohammed, what's really neat about this tool is that it's actually designed for Microsoft, so for SharePoint and for Teams. So there's really no need for customization when you want to deploy. With our setup wizard, you can get it basically up and running within an hour or so and immediately start collecting data. So that is it for the questions, it seems. I will then wrap it up. And as a reminder, we have recorded this webinar and we will be sending out this recording tomorrow or the day after for you to share with your colleagues who are maybe unable to attend. And we invite you to visit us at cardiologanalytics.com to book your free demo of Cardiolog Analytics or Cardiolog Engage or our other solutions, Gamify, and you can also tweet us at Cardiolog. And for more information and any other helpful tips, you can check out our blog. It's a really great blog with some really, really great articles at blog.intlock.com. And for more information, you can just contact us directly at info@intlock.com. So a huge thank you to everyone who joined us today, and have a wonderful rest of your day, and good luck getting all your Office 365 users to be more productive and more collaborative in Teams, and don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you. Take care. Bye.